and glory be to the Heavenly Father and His Son, Yahawah, by Sham, Yahawashi, by Sham Kodash. Those are the true names of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yahawah equals He is, He exists. Yah means He, Hawa means to be or to exist. Alright, put it together, He is, He exists. And Bahasham means in the name, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning the, Sham meaning name. Then Yahawashi equals He saves, He delivers, He is salvation. Yah once again meaning He, Hawashai meaning to save or to deliver or is salvation. Alright, so put it together, He saves, He delivers, He is salvation. And then Rakah, which means spirit, or Dash, which means holy. Alright, put it all together, it's Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakah, Kodash. Okay, and you want to call upon those names, you know, all the time, man. Alright, when you pray, fast, in general, alright, be in constant communication, using those names. Those are the correct names, the proper names. According to Acts 4 and 12, according to Matthew 1 and 21, according to Proverbs 30 and 4, according to Proverbs 18 and 10, all over the scriptures. Okay, the Father's name is there, and the Son's name is known, and we know that that's where it would be, where they got so-called Jesus. All right, you have the Son's name right there. Second of all, I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well, and sincerity taught us this truth. And Shalom to the Lord's hopeful elect, 144,000 men, as well as 1/3 men, women, and children, maintaining themselves, keeping the laws, commandments, and statutes to the best of their ability. I ain't trying to get up out of here, which, man, we almost up out of here, man. This lesson brought to you in the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah B'Shem Yahawashi B'Shem B'Kakadash. Alright, it will be entitled Get Used to the Pain. Right? It's in transit. But when I get to my destination, I'm gonna hit some precepts that I got in the mind. So, get used to the pain, man. We gotta, you know, and you should be used to it by now, especially, you know what I'm saying, 4, 5, 3, whatever years up in. And if you're a new brother coming in, you know, these fiery darts, these trials that you're going through, all this stuff that's hitting you, that you like, wow, you know, but it's coming out of nowhere, left and right. Hey, get used to that, because that's gonna be constant. You know, it's like a roller coaster ride, most definitely. But you got the truth, so you're strapped in. Where these other individuals on the roller coaster, they don't have their seatbelt on. You know, so when they hitting the curves and the speeds and they going up and down too fast, they're getting thrown off. You know what I'm saying? Because they're in the world, so their faith is not in Yahawah B'Shem Yahawashi. They don't have those names which we just broke down. They have an illusion of faith in whatever substance, whatever carnal thing that they have. Their whole world comes crashing down, such as they lose their job, they lose their house, they lose their car, they lose a family member. Right? When they get drafted, you know, that's gonna happen. That's gonna destroy a lot of people. Getting drafted, right? So all this type of stuff is gonna throw them off the roller coaster, which is this human experience, man. You know, and we gotta go through a lot of suffering, but we have understanding, and we have a strong tower, a protector, which is Yahawah B'Shem Yahawashi. Okay, so keep in mind that these trials, and I'm gonna get that when I stop. I'm gonna get that Sirach too. You know, these things you got to take cheerfully. Okay, at the end of the day, so don't. It's always faith over fear. We're not here to complain. We wasn't made to complain. We was made to praise. All right, we was made to praise and made to serve and fear Yahawah B'Shem Yahawashi. So seek the word, seek wisdom at all times. And if you ain't with that, if you can't understand that, then this ain't for you. You know, if you always want to bitch and moan in every situation, then man, go ahead and do that shit with somebody else. Okay, because we getting up out of here. We keeping our eyes on the goal. We keeping our eyes set straight ahead. Tunnel vision to the exit. We not looking at the past, everything that we lost, everything that happened, you know, etc., etc. No. Be in the present. As the scripture says, think not on tomorrow. Boast not on tomorrow, because you could talk about next week or next month or next year. You planning a vacation and all of this, you know what I'm saying, and whatever. And next year might not even come. You understand? So you gotta just focus on the present time and do the best that you can day to day. Take it one step at a time. You know, it's important. I was just watching the House of David, right? And when David, you know, they reenactments and all of that, but when David got out there to fight Goliath, he just said, man, one step at a time, basically. You know what I'm saying? And they portrayed it in the movie. But I mean, that's what it is, really. It's just trusting in Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi and taking these giant obstacles that's in front of us. You got to take them one step at a time. Okay? You got to deal with it as it go. As they say in the world, roll with the punches. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Shalom, Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi Barak. Right? So roll with the punches, and whatever comes left and right, you take them. You take the jab in, you know, and you keep moving, because we have to suffer. The servant is not greater than the master. If we want to be joint heirs with Yahawashi, then we have to go through a similar trial. You know, we have to go through, we have to suffer affliction, and just like he did. Okay, so ain't nobody making it peachy clean. Ain't nobody making it where they didn't have to go through anything, or they wasn't tested. We are being refined in that fire, like silver is refined, or like gold is refined. And the way that gold is cleansed, the way that gold is refined, is broken down to a liquid level, and then the impurities are pulled out, and then it's brought back, you know, and then the gold rises, all the metal is pulled out, right? Now that's a funny thing, because in the body, heavy lead, that right there destroys your body. That's why the fluoride and the arsenic and all this type of stuff is in the water, and especially in like baby food and all of that, you know, because that heavy lead, it destroys your brain, it destroys your body, okay, and all of that. So it's a similar way to, it's beautiful how Yahawah will be using these analogies and stuff with understanding the process of gold being refined and all that metal being pulled out, you know. So you got to get that what's toxic to you up out, and that ties to that leaven, you know, that we getting up out, that we had to get up out of our houses, and getting up out of your spirit. Okay, so it may be, it should, I mean, it may be painful for you to get, like a fast is somewhat, you know, I guess painful, because you're afflicting your soul. So you're going through a situation, but it's better for you. So it's like you're pushing away the bad things, you're pushing away, and you're going on that road less traveled. So you're doing it for a better purpose. So keep your mind on that when you're moving on this trial. All right? This is all for a better reason. This is all for a better purpose. All right? At the end of the day, okay? Yeah. All right, so, you know, with that being said, just keep your mind focused, man. Okay? And I'm about to get to my stop, and I want to get some precepts. All right? That's another one. Basically, that joint heirs is we're going to be given the same type of body as Yahawashi. Now, with that being said, you think we're gonna get there, we're gonna get that with no effort? We're gonna get that with no work, no commitment, no dedication? The elect is the most dedicated. The hopeful elect is the ones that's dedicated, and the ones that Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi is dealing with. Everybody else in our nation is not dedicated. They dedicated and they put their time into something else. Or they might be dedicated to what? To mammon, to women, to a lifestyle, to cars, to all this other type of stuff that is pulling them, out the way. And that be that metal, right? That's in that gold. So they're not getting all that metal out of that gold when they're being refined. You may know the names, you may know the truth, you know what I'm saying? But you're not living it. So that metal is never able to get out of you, so you're never able to become pure, right? And that goes down to doctrine. If you do not know the names of Yahawah, Hashem, Yahawashi, then you don't got it. All right? You're not refined because you're still living a lie. You're still living a white man's fantasy where he's telling you that the name is Jesus. He just created that shit out of his ass. He's telling you the name is Yeshua. He created that shit out of his ass. Okay? Those are not the proper names. That's not even proper Hebrew. So you gotta get that metal, and that's leaven also, because that is sin to call on a false god. Yeah, that's in taking it to a level where it's just 10 commandments, man. All right, have no other power. So if you calling on Jesus, you calling on Yeshua, you calling on Yahweh, Yahusha, whatever you calling on, then you got a lot. That's sin. And you will not make it based off of that. Just in general, you did not have the key to get into the door, right? Yahawashi did not come calling on the false name. He came calling on the proper name. He came in the Father's name. All right, let me get this precept since I'm at this light. This is Hebrews 11 and 25. Well, actually 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Right? He was rejecting everything that was given to him, his upbringing. He was rejecting the ways because he realized who he was. You know what I'm saying? So you got to reject everything that America has been bestowing to you. All right? All this type of stuff that you grew up with, and it's all BS. You don't want to be in their customs anymore. You don't want to be in their culture anymore. You don't want to do their holidays. All right, their ways, because their ways is not the Most High's ways. It's not Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi's ways. It's not the proper ways and the correct ways. So you can't be doing those ways, man, and thinking that that's gonna get you through. It's not. Let's get that 25. Bringing the point back to suffering. Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of Yahawah than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. But most of our people, at this point in time, they want to what? They want to enjoy the pleasures of life. They want to be in the spirit of mirth. They're not used to the pain. All right? They're choosing pleasure over pain. The hopeful elect is choosing pain over pleasure, knowing that pain is going to be there. We're embracing this end where we want it to end. So we know for it to end, we have to go through the pain. We have to go through the trial, which it may be hard or whatever, it is what it is. But the fact is, we can't change it. So you can't change it. So you got to go through it. Okay. The best thing to do is just do it. Like when you jump in the pool or something, you're at the beach, the water is cold. But, after a while, you're going to get used to it. Just jump in and get used to it. Right? If you play around with it, that thought is just lingering in your mind the whole time. And then it's the mental aspect of it. It gets worse. And now you may never jump in the water. That's how individuals are with the truth. That's Sirach 5 and 7, man. They tarry day to day. Like, man, I get right with the Lord next week. I get right with the Lord next month, next year. You boasting on tomorrow, when those time frames that you picked out may never come. You can't set a date for Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi. Okay? You can't set a date. It don't work like that. He woke you up today, you breathing, you got eyes, you got hands, you got legs, whatever it be. You know what I'm saying? Your situation is your situation. And you gonna set a date and time with him to come and see him when he's seeing you right now. You got it. You know what I'm saying? Salakia, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me park, man. But that's our people, though. They stubborn and they don't consider who they are. And then the hard way is the way that they neglect. It's the way that they reject. Because that's too much. Or they'll say, Yahawashi went through all of that, so we don't got to go through all of that. And the scripture speaks opposite of that. You know? This is verse 26. Esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. Right? So, it's what we're getting is far greater than what America, which is the new Egypt, okay, it's a spiritual Egypt, could give us. Right? And you got to keep that in your mind all the times. Okay, what you're going through is worth going through. When what these 2/3 and et cetera are going through, it's not, bro, this place is not worth getting a nuke. This place is not worth burning in a lake of fire, man. Okay? But you're putting this up there like it is. Right? Just so you can ride in a Tesla, just so you can, just so you can go to Turks and Caicos or whatever and do all this bullshit. Right? So you got to look at the pleasures of Egypt, or they should be out of your mind. The pleasures of Egypt are pointless. Not saying that we don't have a good time, etc. Like, we do our thing, but we not doing nothing crazy, extravagant. Right? People are what? As the time speaks, they're still marrying. They're giving. Let's get that. They're doing all of that in a sense of they're just simply in a spirit of myrrh. This is Luke 17. And I'll start at 24. For as the lightning that lighteth out of one part under heaven shineth unto the other part under heaven, so shall also the Son of Man be in his day. Right? Coming in a massive spaceship, coming from the east to the west. Right? And everybody's going to see his glory. Everybody's going to see him. So, and most are going to wail. Most are going to cry. And most are going to be afraid. Because they wasn't looking for him. He came like a thief in the night. Right? And he's going to take away everything that they have. But for us, we're looking for him. Their doom is basically we're up out of here. Right? So we're hastening on the day, as it states in what's that, Peter? You know what I'm saying? We're hastening. We're hoping for it to come. 25. But first must he suffer many things and be rejected of this generation. Now, if they rejected him last time, they're going to reject him this time. It's the same exact people. Okay? It's the same exact spirits. Reincarnation, regeneration, they're back. Nothing is new under the sun. That right there, that scripture should let you know. If nothing's new under the sun, then that includes souls, spirits. That includes devices. That includes societies, empires, Rome, right? Greece, Babylon, Persia. That includes, okay, their ways, draconian measures, okay? All this type of stuff that they did before, they're doing some more. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't no inventing the wheel. Right? Verse 26, and as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. So think about the days of Noah. What did Noah do? Noah prophesied. Noah preached. All right? He told people it's about to rain, you know what I'm saying? First death about to come, and everybody gonna get destroyed. Nobody wanted to listen. So, I mean, if you say you know the Bible so much, right? And you should consider that, well, those brothers out on the street is kind of doing what Noah's doing. Okay? But that's the fact is, our people don't really care about Noah. They don't, because they don't see a similarity in what we're doing. You know, they don't care. But you would say, oh yeah, Noah. But you don't really know. You don't think about what he did. When it would be like, yeah, we like Noah, but you're those same people that denied and rejected Noah. You're those same people that didn't want to listen to him when he was saying what was going to happen. So when we're telling you the same exact thing, all right, that a massive death is coming, the second death, this time by fire, not by water, right? We're telling you, hey, an ark, you got to get on this spiritual ark, which is just truth, this understanding, and the doors are eventually going to be closed. You know, I would take heed to that if somebody was saying that, right? So Yahawashi is letting you know these days must be just like those days. Now, what was happening in the days of Noah? You had homosexuality at a mass. You had wickedness, crime everywhere, lawlessness. Right? They what? The sons of God, which are the Israelites, back then, went into the daughters of men, so the heathen nations, and we could take heathen women, but the fact is that we took on their cultures, we took on their ways, we took on their customs. We began to worship their gods. Now, you look at the sons of God today, and what are they doing? They're doing the same exact thing. We're worshiping their gods, we're taking on their customs, their culture. You got our people doing, what's today? Sunday? It's Easter, right? On that bullshit. So they doing this. They're doing you got little Jakes right now running around looking for eggs that bunnies don't even lay, which this is all going back to a false god. Ishtar, Aphrodite, Ashtaroth, it goes back, okay? So, and then back to the Sumerians as well. So, our people are doing the same things, the times of Noah. When they don't consider that, but they say they know the Bible. But you don't. You don't. You got all these people just went down to Houston and got HIV, AIDS, herpes, whatever, man. Everything under the sun was floating around down there. And then Esau set it up perfectly because they knew, oh, the niggas about to flow to Houston. Let's put everything down there, all right? And then let's let them spread it out. Perfect plan. So you got everybody, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, whatever. All right, California, they went down there. What you call that shit? It's a fuck fest. All right, they went down there. They got what they got, and then they brought it back around the country. Okay, these are the times of Noah, man. This is the same stuff that was going on. All right, so they did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. You understand that? So, how y'all gonna be looking? How y'all gonna be looking when that happens again, where the fire is coming? In the ark, you got the spiritual ark right now, which is, this truth, the why, Ezekiel 9 and 6. Okay, so we're protected, we're moving forth. And then you're going to have literally, chariots that brothers and sisters are going to go into. All right? So they're going to be protected from that fire which is to come. All right? That's extremely important. But when that comes, these individuals that was outside the ark in Noah's time, They was looking like, Noah, let me in. Yahawah closed the door. What's going to happen at the same time? Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. All right, these individuals are let me in, let me in. No, you're going to look at us go up. Yahawah Ratazah, we be of that number. Okay? Because ain't nobody chosen. Don't nobody know nothing. You know what I'm saying? We got to what? Make our calling to the election sure. All right? So we pray that we going up into that chariot. And the people that's not going are going to look like, yo, they wasn't lying. This is real. This is some sci-fi shit. It ain't sci-fi. I mean, you can call it that, but it's not. It's Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi, and it's how he works. The strangeness of our salvation. Yeah, you may have seen it on some Star Trek. You may have seen it on Star Wars. You may have seen it on that, but they got it from the scriptures. All right? Verse 28. Likewise also as it was in the days of Lot. Same thing going on. You know? Same thing going on. Bro, they tried to rape the angels, man. You know what I'm saying? You know how crazy that is? They tried to mess with the angels, man. That's wild. Okay? That's why the angels was cutting their ass up, man, and destroying them. Alright? And then, hey, example to you women. You better follow that man and don't look back. You better follow that man, hold his hand, and leave. Stop looking back at Babylon. My auntie, my mama, my grandma, you know, no. My co-worker, no. Don't look back. Leave that shit alone. If they didn't want to get with it, the angels came and they said, yo, you know, Abraham was praying. All right, if it's 50, is it 50 in this city? It ain't 50. Is it 40? It ain't 40. Is it 30? It ain't 30. Is it 20? It ain't 20. They was searching. Where's the righteous in the city? But you got the opportunity to leave, but you looking back for more. If they was with you, you know, if it was more, then they would be with you. If they not with you, then they not with you. They don't supposed to be with you. That's it. That's the mindset, bro. You know, they gonna be with us if they supposed to be with us. How many times we done preached? How many times we done did it? How many times we done, they know where we at. You know what I'm saying? So, you can't pull nobody on, man. You know? This ain't no begging contest. If they want to get it, they'll get it. So likewise also as it was in the days of Lot, they did eat, they drink, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built it. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Now that's from them chariots. Okay? So, and you can go to that area, which them other 5 cities too, them 5 cities in that area where it used to be a massive lake right there. Okay, and you have 5 cities situated around the lake. So, you know, it was crops and everything would grow because they got the water, you know, and they was flourishing. Okay, but Yahawah destroyed all that because they was flourishing and they was in wickedness, you know, and he made an example of that, and that example still stands today. You go there, nothing grows. That is a similitude of what, you know, America is about to be, where nothing will grow here. What's in Sodom and Gomorrah? Nothing but desert creatures. All right, you still got sulfur there. You know, go to the soil. It's uninhabitable. Nothing grows. All right, so and you got people out here that don't believe in Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. All you gotta do is put the pieces together. That's that land. That's that area. You know. Just put the pieces together. It's right there. The evidence is right there. You got these Edomites doing a National Geographic. They'll show you it's right there. They'll show you the chariots in the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aqaba. They'll show you that. You know, they'll show you where they found Noah's Ark on Mount Ararat in Turkey. They'll show you that. They said we got this radar technology. We was able to look inside, and it's hollow inside, and it fits. It actually matches the measurements that Noah was given. So Just those 3 accounts right there proves Noah and the ark, Sodom and Gomorrah, and us leaving up out of Egypt. But you need you I guess y'all gotta see Yahawah. I guess y'all gotta see Yahawah and Yahawashi, I guess. That's the only way some niggas don't believe, man. You know. That ain't how it is. Faith is what? Is a substance. As a matter of fact, man, I see some precepts on the board. Hey, Shalom, Shalom, my brother Nashar. Yahawah Shem Yahawah Barak. Let me get you out. Shalom. Ecclesiasticus 11:5. Many kings have sat down upon the ground, and one that was never thought of hath won the crown. Khan. Exactly. Oh, beautiful, man. Cause hey, I was just watching. I woke up early today. You know, like 4 or 5. I don't know why. I couldn't sleep or whatever. But I started watching House of David, and it's free on Amazon Prime now. Before you had to get like a 7-day trial or something. I ain't never get it, but whatever. But now season 2 is free, so I started watching it today, and you know, just going back and reflecting in 1 Samuel, right, 15, you know, 16, 17, when David got anointed. It's like that. One that was him. His brothers was looking at him like, David with the sheep, the shepherd? Nah, what? You know? So one that you wouldn't expect wore the crown. Alright? The same way they looked at Yahawashi. This is Joseph's son. Right? We grew up with him. His sisters is among us. You know, who is this? Nah. So that's the same way about, it's a similitude with the men of Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi, where they can't see us because of who they may have thought we was in the world, or they grew up with us, or whatever, or all that. You know, the stigmatism that they put upon us. Okay? But Yahawah works like that. He loves to work like that because he does it multiple times. So he definitely, you know, loves to come like that because he sees the inward of a man. You know what I'm saying? And he'll raise that man up. Right? So surprises, Yahawah bring the most surprises, man. Alright, surprise! It was a prophet among you. Surprise! Like, that's what he get at. It's beautiful. I love this story. Verse 5. Many kings have sat down upon the ground, and one that was never thought of hath won the crown. Many mighty men have been greatly disgraced, and the honorable delivered into other men's hands. Con. Look at us right now. We are delivered into other men's hands. Alright, you got King David's 37 mighty men. They're here, and they're in the truth. And they most likely in Great Millstone, or they teaching a like-minded doctrine. Okay, the house of David is back. So you got those mighty men that used to kill. I'm on YouTube. They used to kill 800, 600, 500, 400, 300. They back. All right, and they in this captivity just like that. You know? So it is what it is. But they're gonna be raised up. You know what I'm saying? They of the elect. That house of David, that's all the elect men, man. That's the elect men. Okay? So, nothing new under the sun. You know? Let me see. Going down to verse 12. Again, there is another that is slow and have need of help, wanting ability and full of poverty. Yet the eye of Yahawah looked upon him for good and set him up from his low estate. When David walked out there, he said, when David walked out there, Goliath said, "Is he simple? Is he simple?" That's how they looking at us, like, y'all slow. Y'all think it don't matter what they think though. Right? We know Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi is fighting with us. He's with us. Okay? So we're standing boldly for the name, regardless of the circumstance, regardless what that obstacle looks like. No matter how big it looked like. You know? That whole encounter, you had 5 armies of the Philistines surrounded us. Alright? But David came and he was like, why y'all letting this big ass Hamite talk shit? Why y'all letting him blaspheme Yahawah's name? Why y'all letting him talk shit about us? Why y'all letting him do all this? Yo, come on, man. We got faith. Alright? Everybody else was shook. They was scared. You know, but David was like, nah, let's get it, man. Alright? I done slayed a bear. I done slayed a lion. And we talking about them Barbary lions. Them lions was big. Far bigger than these African lions, like these lions these days. These lions was massive, man. You know? And that was the lions that dwelled in North Africa and Israel. But those lions are now, because of Esau, extinct. Esau, he destroys the earth. He takes away the creatures, man. You know? So David slayed that type of lion. That makes the feat even greater, because you thinking it's a lion you saw at the zoo. No, that's a small lion. We talking about a Barbary lion. Alright, so he wasn't scared of this Goliath. You know what I'm saying? So in that pain, going back to the top, you know, the lesson is just remembering in the pain, Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi is with you in the pain. He's with you in the fight. He's with you when whatever you're going through happens. He's there, and he's gonna take care of you, man. He's done it before. He's gonna do it some more. All right. He ain't just gonna leave you high and dry. 13, Ecclesiasticus 11, and lifted up his head from misery, so that many that saw it marveled at him. Exactly, Khan. Yahawashi is that example, that perfect example of what he went through is a light, you know. And he's like, yo, I went through this, you know, and some brothers may have to be martyred, or they got to go through similar examples, similar situations. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Yahawah gonna have us be tortured. You know, a lot of that is for the 2/3. Okay, but hey, we will be tried. We will be thrown into prisons. You know what I'm saying? Revelations 2 and 10, I think. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna have a lot of situations that's uncomfortable, and that's what pain is, uncomfortable. So when you saying get used to the pain, I ain't talking about just physical. I'm talking about uncomfortable situations. You can have mental pain. You know, you can have psychological pain. You can have financial pain. You can have women pain. You can have whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's get used to the pain is more so accepting that, hey, this is captivity, but this pain eventually ends, and this pain is worth going through that pain because of the reward on the other side of that pain. Right? I'm about to wrap it up though. Let's get a couple more. Alright. And yeah, that was Revelations 2 and 10. And it reads, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. So don't fear the pain. Suffering goes hand in hand with pain. Don't fear it. Like I said, we embrace it. We go through it. Now, we don't put ourselves in harm's way because we don't tempt Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi. But we know he's going to chastise us. He's going to hit us. He's going to do what he got to do, you know, to refine us and to get that metal up out of us, as we stated earlier, with the gold being refined and all the impurities, which is the metal, comes up out. You got to think about gold. Where you get gold at? In a mine. It's mixed in with iron and all these different type of metals, and you got to mine it, and then once you knock it, you get it, and you got to refine it to get the rest of the metal that's around it. So therefore you can only get up to 99.99% of gold. We gonna be 100% pure. It ain't gonna be no ounce of impurities in us. So no ounce of leaven, no ounce of sin, no ounce of metal in us. All right, so we gonna be 100% pure. Virgins. Yeah, you got these girls I'm a half virgin. How? You a what? No, ain't no such thing. Okay? You either 100% or you not. Alright? We gonna be 100%. Okay? No, not defiled with no wicked ass doctrines up in us. The doctrine of the apostles is gonna be 100%. Alright? Everything that Yahawah Yahawashi taught us. Okay? So it ain't gonna be no, because you got these the same way. You a half version. You got these Jakes. Yeah, I believe a lot of y'all what y'all saying, but that MOTB, I don't know, or that Deuteronomy 22, y'all great. What? That's how they be. They be trying to find something that they just dislike. You know. Yeah. But I just don't want to go out on the corners though. You know what I'm saying? It be whatever. So Jake, if your spirit ain't supposed to be, you're gonna find something to go against the truth. You're gonna define something in the doctrine. You know, you're gonna search it out. You're supposed to diligently search out Yahawah, but you diligently searching out something to go against Yahawah. That's crazy. Alright? So once again, get used to the pain. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Be thou faithful unto death. If you're used to the pain, you're used to these situations, this is, and it's what? It's no surprises to the hopeful elect, because of what? The spirit of prophecy. So it ain't no surprises. Everything that's happening, we've been talking about it. So it ain't surprising to us, you know, that Iran is attacking. It ain't no surprise. It ain't no surprise that Yemen, Iraq, the Houthis, you know, are joining the fight. In Lebanon, bro, they missiles was raining on Israel last night. Okay? Which I think their last night is right now. So missiles is raining on their ass. You know? It ain't no surprise that the dragons of Arabia have woke up. It's not no surprise. It's not no surprise that Russia said if U.S. put ground troops down, then Russia's going to put ground troops down. Because Russia shall be a guard for the Persians, which is the Iranians. So it's not no surprise. We sitting here like, all right, we on page 35, let's turn to page 36. We on page 36, let's turn to page 37. That's what we doing. We just going through the motions, man. And we just waiting it out as Yahawah told us to. So it ain't no surprise. You know, and that's beautiful. That's verse 11. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. We got to go through all this pain, but we won't feel that second death. You know, we'll make it through that. All right, and that's the worst type of pain. So, would you rather go through this part, or would you rather go through that harder part? You know, so I say this a lot, man. It's a hard way and it's a harder way. Just do the hard way. Don't do the harder way. 2/3 want to do the harder way. We just gonna do the hard way. All right. I'm gonna wrap it up with Sirach 2. Brother, got any more precepts? Nope. All right. Sirach 2, and we start at the top. Because this chapter pretty much just tells you get used to the pain. Alright? This is Sirach 2 and 1. My son, if thou come to serve Yahawah, prepare thy soul for temptation. Prepare thy soul for these trials. And in those trials comes pain. Temptation, going back to Moses rejecting being called Pharaoh's son. You know? So he was rejecting the pleasures of Egypt. And he was getting used to the pain. He was encouraging, he was embracing the pain. He was embracing the truth. He was like, nah, I'm not no damn Egyptian. Okay? I'm an Israelite. I'm going to be with my people. I'm going to suffer with my people. I'm going to lead my people. Right? If you turn your back on your people, man, You had times where Israelites are called heathens, Israelites are called Gentiles. Okay, so that's common, you know. So you can't seek the pleasures of Egypt, all these things of Egypt, and think that Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi is going to deal with you. Verse 2, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Endure, stamina, going through it. So you're constantly going through the pain. You're constantly, you're taking it. And yeah, you're going to have times where you up. You're going to have times where you down, you know. And when you up, trust me, just know that you're going to be down. Eventually it's coming. Something's coming. Something, man. Around the corner, something is coming. Alright, best believe me, man. Shoot, man, my water heater broke. Alright, on Tuesday. I was like, bro, right around the Passover? That was crazy. You know? But I was able to get it fixed Friday. But it's like I said, something gotta happen. You know? Hey, it's going a little too good. Something gotta happen. Right? And when it happened, hey, the Wadi Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi, alright? Now, hey, get me through this. He got me through it. He got me through it with the niceness too, man. You know, he makes something unexpected happen out of nowhere. You know, I mean, man, he'll turn your enemies. Man, let's get that, man. All right, he turn your enemies to a what? A footstool, and that's what he does. This is Psalms 110 and 1. The Psalm of David. Yahawah said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. Okay? Now, he does that. He's going to definitely do that with our biggest enemy, which is Esau Edom. Okay? But you also got people of our nation, you know, that act like heathens, act like Gentiles. They do the ways, but he'll also use them and turn them into your footstool, man. All right? Or he'll make what? He'll prepare a table in the midst of your enemies. Right? So you in a sense, because you got that strong tower, you got that protection, you got that favor with Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi. So he can manipulate a spirit on anybody, you know, and make that individual work in your favor. All right? And that's easy. That's light work. What's that? 2 Samuel 6? Let me see. I think so. You know, where he'll turn somebody, it's easy to make somebody rich. Or it's easy. It's light work. Or is that 1 Samuel 6? Yeah, it's 1 Samuel. Was it 7? I'm about to find it real quick. 1 Samuel 2 and 7. Yahawah maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust and lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are Yahawah's, and he have set the world upon them. Going back to, he'll take somebody that you never expected and give them the crown. All right? The way he did with King David, the way he did with Moses. All right? So, you know, he'll go and take the low and he'll set them up. So it's nothing for him to do a 360 with you, or a 180 or whatever, you know? It's nothing. Everything is in his control. Keep that in your mindset. And when you're going through the pain, keep that in your mindset. Don't think that he's forgotten you because the situation is looking dire. You're going through straits. Straits are difficult. You know, it's hard to pass through, right? And on straits, man, where was we at? I think we was in the Philippines or something, but we had to go through a strait. And in that strait, we had to be at a higher alert where we had to arm up. We had to get you know, M16s and all that, armor, vests, and we had to have constant guards going through those straits because there was a lot of traffic, a lot of boats. So in those straits, in these positions of difficulty, you shouldn't be in no position of myrrh. You know, you should be in a position of mourning, a position of alertness when you're going through these situations. Because we are at war. You know what I'm saying? So just stay on your guard, man. You know? Alright, verse 3. Matter of fact, verse 2. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure and make not haste in time of trouble. When you're going through those difficult positions, don't think off of emotions. Don't make haste, because in time of trouble, you're going to make the wrong move. Think it out. Alright? Go through consequences. Alright, this can happen, this can happen, this can happen. Revert back to the scriptures and then make a wise decision. You know? Watch. Saying this a couple lessons ago. With these individuals, when food is no longer here, you know, famine, and they gonna be acting hasty as hell because they acting off of those parasites, you know, and they acting off of emotions because they ain't ate in a couple days. So they'll do anything for a piece of bread. And girls out here gonna literally be trying to do anything for a piece of bread. I'm for real. So that's what times it's about to get like, man. You know? And they gonna be wishing that they had a man during that time. But hey, you rejected all those dudes that got at you. So we gonna laugh, man. Alright? Verse 3. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. For the elect, right? Being increased at thy last end. Going through all that pain, but not going through the second death. Being increased at thy last end, where you're able to enjoy Revelations 15, 1 through 3. You're able to sing that song of Moses, and you're able to look down from that sea of glass with that eagle eye, you know what I'm saying? My brother right there, with that eagle eye vision, where you can see everything burning. You can see, you know what I'm saying? You can see all of this taking place. Alright, because we're gonna have to have some type of zoomed in eyesight, man. Definitely. You know? Alright? To watch this place burn. Alright, because man, the chariots and Air Force notice, Navy notice, you know, regular freaking airplane companies, they notice. They fly at around 35,000 miles in you know, in altitude. They don't really go higher than that. And then the Navy and the Air Force and the Army, they'll go like 50,000. They're not going up there in that 150. That's where the chariots be at. They ain't going up there, you know. So we gonna be up there, you know what I'm saying? And we gonna have that. We gonna have them spiritual powers. Yahawah is out to be us, you know what I'm saying? So we gonna have them spiritual powers to be able to look down here and like zoom in like you got a telescope, man. You know, up there in the ozone. All right. So let's read that one more time. Cleave unto him. Cleave unto Yahawah Shem Yahawashi, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. So you'll obtain that reward which you strived for. You worked out your own salvation with fear and trembling for. Right? You made your call into the election sure for. You went through all of this suffering for. Right? So you're going to be rewarded. You're going to get the fruits of your labors, your deeds, what you put in. You know, you'll be rewarded. Verse 4. Whatsoever, it's the last one, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. So in the pain, you take it cheerfully. You take these situations cheerfully. You go through them, trusting in Yahawah Shem Yahawashi, always saying faith over fear. You know? And the elders read at camp yesterday, what's that? Revelations 21:8, I think, where the fearful are thrown into the lake. Alright? Hey, okay, I got it.
But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake of fire, the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. All right? So, can't be around here walking around in fear, man. We haven't been given a spirit of fear. Okay? So it's faith over fear. Always. Continuously. Trust in Yahawah Hashem Yahawashi to get you through this pain. You know? Shoot, we went through it enough. We went through it. And as the scripture says, the time of our affliction is at an end, basically. So it's time for somebody else to get these curses. And we know who that is. These heathens, man. You know, Deuteronomy 30 and 7. All right, so it's time for them to enjoy this ride. All right, you know what I'm saying? So it's time for them to get used to the pain. So hey, with that being said, pray this was an edifying lesson. All right, no more precepts. Nope. Hey, the water for the precepts out. Giving all praises, honor, and glory be to Yahawah, Sham, Yahawashi, Shem Kakadash. Once again, those are the names of the Heavenly Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. As always, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone. And shalom to the Lord's hopeful elect. Until next time, man, Kwam Yasha Allah, and abide but ball. If you can't see the light, you're walking in darkness. Shalom, shalom.